So today we're looking at what Google is calling its dual strategy. And this feels like a really fundamental shift in their AI development.
It absolutely is. This isn't just about making a better chatbot.
No.
It's a pivot from, what we call generative AI to something they're terming agentic science and physical intelligence.
So it's a bid to conquer not just the digital world, but the actual process of scientific discovery.
That's the ambition. And this duality, it really shows up in two key pillars. First, you've got this cognitive leap in software with Gemini 3 Pro.
The brains of the operation.
Exactly. And second, the physical application of that brain, which is the DeepMind Automation Lab. We're seeing the move from large language models, LLMs, to large action models, LAMs.
Okay, so let's unpack that cognitive leap first. The sources keep mentioning the engineering of System 2 thinking into Gemini 3 Pro. What does that actually mean?
Right. So System 2 is that slow, deliberate, logical reasoning that we humans use for, hard problems.
Not just pattern matching.
Not just pattern matching. And they've built this new API parameter, thinking level. If a developer sets that level high, it forces the model to run through multiple internal dialogues, sort of correcting its own errors before it even gives you an answer.
I see. So that's how it's getting those top scores on really difficult math benchmarks like MathArena Apex. It's literally thinking harder.
Thinking harder. It's doing multi-step symbolic reasoning.
But okay, that kind of deep cognitive work, it can't be cheap. There must be huge economic implications here.
And that's the strategic gamble. With the new API, you're not just paying for the output token. You have to pay for the internal thinking tokens.
So you're literally buying the machine's labor.
You're buying its verifiable intelligence. And if that intelligence saves your company a week of debugging or finds a new chemical pathway, the cost is, well, it's easily justified.
But if these agents are going to be operating our databases or writing critical code, you need to be able to trust that process. How do you solve for that?
They're trying to address that with something called thought signatures. It's essentially a cryptographic verification. It ensures that the AI's entire reasoning path is continuous and auditable. It's their answer to the black box problem.
And this all ties into their developer tools, right? The anti-gravity IDE and this vibe coding.
Yeah, that's the accelerator. With vibe coding, a developer just describes the high-level goal, the vibe. Something like build a secure user database hookup.
And the agent does the rest.
It handles all the syntax, the boilerplate, everything, across the code editor, the terminal, the browser, all at once. The developer becomes more of an architect than just a coder.
So if that's the cognitive agent, the brain, let's move to the second part of this strategy, the part that interacts with, actual atoms, this DeepMind Automation Lab.
Right, their self-driving laboratory. It's planned for 2026 in the UK, and the vision is basically to industrialize science.
What does that look like in practice?
It's a closed loop that runs 24/7. An AI generates a hypothesis, say, for a new battery material. It then converts that into robotic instructions.
And the robots in the lab just run the experiment.
They synthesize the material, run the tests, and all that analysis feeds right back to the AI. So it's constantly learning, constantly improving. The goal is to speed up materials discovery by 10x, maybe even 100x.
100 times. That's just staggering. What's the engine behind that?
It's a multi-agent system they call the AI co-scientist. It's got this generate, debate, evolve architecture.
So you have different AIs playing different roles.
Exactly. One agent generates the wild ideas, the hypotheses. Another one acts as the strict critical reviewer trying to poke holes in it. They battle test everything digitally before they waste money on a physical experiment.
And it's already had results.
It has. They've already published a verified breakthrough where the system found that an existing drug, Chiari-6, is actually an effective inhibitor for acute myeloid leukemia cells.
Wow. Okay, so this brings it all back to the core strategy. It seems like OpenAI is focused on the office, with benchmarks that test white-collar job skills.
Right, like GDP val.
But Google is clearly aiming for the laboratory. They're using benchmarks like GPQA, which tests expert-level scientific knowledge. They want to build the best scientists.
That synthesis is perfect. It confirms the dual strategy, pushing AI from large language models to large action models, whether that action is writing code or running a chemistry set.
So at the end of the day, what does this mean for you, for everyone? I mean, if AI can really compress a decade of material science research into a single year, the impact on everything from energy to computing, that's the real Moore's Law moment for the physical world.
It is, and that really raises the question, doesn't it? How do we all prepare for a world where scientific discovery, which has always been limited by human time and patience, starts moving at machine speed. That's something to really mull over.